It's 6 p.m. Cairo local time, and it's time for the English news bulletin. And starting up with the main headlines. President Sisi meets Prime Minister Madbouli and the Minister of Petroleum Karim Badawi. The Foreign Minister delivers the written message for President Sisi to Nigeria's President Tinubu. Gaza's Civil Defense Agency said Israeli occupation strikes killed 15 people. Welcome back. The news in detail. President Sisi underscored the need to further strengthen the state's efforts to create the conducive investment environment for both the foreign and the national capital to boost the domestic oil and gas production in order to meet the development's needs, reduce the import bill, and alleviate the burdens on the citizens. The president remarks came during his meeting with the Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli and the Minister of Petroleum and the Mineral Resources Engineer Karim Badawi. During the meeting, the President also stressed the crucial need to focus on developing new discoveries, accelerating their integration into production, expanding research and exploration program, and offering the additional incentives to achieve more growth in the petroleum and the mineral resources sector. The meeting also discussed the state's efforts to secure the citizens' need for the petroleum products and to supply various state sector, primarily the electricity sector with the natural gas, in addition to the latest developments in exploration activities and added the petroleum reserves. That also focused on the Ministry of Petroleum and the Mineral Resources efforts to, in cooperation with relevant state authorities, to reduce the outstanding dues to foreign partners, would include the commitment to monthly invoice payments and encourage partners to accelerate the pace of the production and exploration. And other issues discussed in the meeting included cooperation with the Cyprus to diversify gas supplies and activate the strategy for the regional gas trading hub, as well as efforts to achieve the breakthrough in the mining sector through the transforming the Mineral Resources Authority into effective economy entity. The Minister of Foreign Affairs and Migration, Badr Abdulati, delivered a written message from the President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to Nigerian President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The message stressed the deep ties between the two sides and keenness to cement the coordination and the cooperation across various fields and the support and security and the stability in Africa. And during the talks, Abdulati stressed that the deep Egyptian-Nigerian bilateral relations bind the two countries, given Nigeria's important continental role. For his part, Nigeria's president said that Egypt is playing a pivotal role in supporting the security and development in the African continent, and he expressed also interest in expanding cooperation and coordination with Egypt in African and international bodies. Minister of Foreign Affairs also and Immigration, Badr Abdulati, said that Egyptian expatriates living abroad represent a fundamental pillar in supporting and enhancing Egypt's stance regionally and internationally. During the meeting held with members of the Egyptian community residing in Nigeria as part of his visit to the Nigerian capital, Abuja, the Foreign Minister highlighted the political leadership's commitment to providing the full support to Egyptians abroad and intensifying efforts to communicate with them through Egypt diplomatic mission worldwide. During the meeting held with the members of Egyptian community residing in Nigeria, the Foreign Minister referred to the ongoing preparation for the 6th edition of the Conference for Egyptians Abroad, scheduled to take place on August 3rd and 4th, 2025. In the meantime, Minister of Foreign Affairs Migration Badr Abdulati and his Nigerian counterpart Yusuf Tugar attended the signing ceremony of the Memorandum of Understanding between Nigeria's Dar al-Hilal Group Limited and Egypt's Mustaqbal Masri for the Sustainable Development. The MOU aims in strengthening joint cooperation in the management of agriculture facilities and projects infrastructure development, including road construction, the modern irrigation system and agriculture mechanizations, as well as the exchange of the technical expertise. The Arab League held an extraordinary meeting on Tuesday on the level of the permanent members. The meeting is chaired by Jordan, the current president of the Arab League Council, and it was called by the Palestine to discuss the political, legal and diplomatic moves on the Arab and international levels to counter the unprecedented Israeli aggression on the Palestinian lands. And Palestinian permanent representatives to the Arab League said that the call comes at a time in catastrophic circumstances, starvation, siege and widespread death in Gaza. And he said also that the hungry are being driven to non-humanitarian food distribution points, while at the same time the occupation state is targeting Islamic and the Christian sacred sites. The note forwarded by a Palestinian to the Council also covers a scheme by Occupation Authority to establish the so-called humanitarian city in southern Gaza, which is in fact a closed concentration camp extending the massacre crimes of the occupation. Attempts to change the historical, legal and religious status of the Ibrahim Mosque and targeting of the Latin Church in Gaza, which houses hundreds of displaced Palestinians, are also on the agenda of the talks. The EU Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas told her Israeli counterpart Tuesday that Israel's occupation military must stop killing the civilians at 8 distribution points in Gaza. Meanwhile, a spokesman for the bloc also condemned any attacks against the World Health Organization after the agency said its facilities in Gaza had been targeted by Israeli forces. And Kallas has laid out a series of actions that EU states could take against Israel unless the dire humanitarian situation in Gaza improves. The head of the Gaza's largest hospital on Tuesday said that 21 children have died due to the malnutrition and starvation in the Palestinian territory in the past 3 days amid a devastating assault by Israel occupation force. Also, still in Gaza, where the Gaza Civil Defense Agency said Israeli strikes killed 15 people in the Palestinian territory Tuesday. The Civil Defense Agency has accused Israel forces of killing Gaza's residents on a daily basis during the equivalent of thousands killed and many more displaced. Agency spokesman Mahmoud Basil said that the Israeli occupation strikes on Al-Shati camp west of Gaza's city killed at least 13 people and wounded more than 50. Most of the Gaza's population has been displaced at least once during the war, and Al-Shati camp on the Mediterranean coast hosts thousands of people displaced from the north in tents and the makeshift shelters. Meanwhile, an overnight Syrian President Ahmad al-Shara received a report into violence in Syrian coast earlier this year and pledged measures to prevent its reoccurrence. Shara received the full report of the bloodshed from the fact-finding committee on July 13th. At the statement from the presidency said the same day violence erupted in the Druze minority of the province, Sweden. And the statement added also that Shara will carefully examine the findings to ensure the steps are taken to advance the principles of the truth, justice and accountability and prevent the recurrence of the violations as part of building a new Syria. He asked the committee to hold a press conference to present its findings as soon as possible if it seems appropriate. The peace talks between Ukraine and Russia in the first in 7 weeks are planned for Wednesday in Turkey. The Kremlin said that the two sides were diametrically opposed in their positions on how to end the war. Details in the coming report.
The Kremlin said on Tuesday that there was no basis to expect miracles from a proposed third round of direct Russian-Ukrainian peace talks and declined to give any time frame for a potential agreement to end the war. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said on Saturday that Kyiv has sent Moscow an offer to hold another round of peace talks in Turkey this week and that he wants to speed up negotiations for a ceasefire. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov told reporters that there is no reason to expect any breakthroughs in the category of miracles. It is hardly possible in the current situation. He said, quote, "We intend to pursue our interests. We intend to ensure our interests and fulfill the tasks that we set for ourselves from the very beginning," end quote. Asked if he could give a sense of how the Kremlin saw the potential time frame of a possible peace agreement, Peskov said he could give no guidance on timing. Peskov added that there is a lot of work to be done before we can talk about the possibility of some top-level meetings, a day after Zelensky renewed a call for a meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin.
And the Minister of Petroleum and the Mineral Resources, Karim Badawi, discussed with the British Petroleum International CEO William Lenn and the accompanying delegation the new plans for the company's investment activities and the natural gas production in Egypt. The meeting also tackled the recent gas discoveries in the Mediterranean Sea. The minister asserted in a statement released by the Ministry of Petroleum the importance of cooperation with the British Petroleum Company and boosting cooperation in implementing projects that aim at increasing the natural gas local production so as to decrease importing expenses and encourage more investment in the promising sector. The meeting also dealt with the company's future excavation plans of distinct regions on the Mediterranean Sea. The Minister of the General Business Sector, Mohammed Hashimi, discussed the India's ambassador in Egypt, Mr. Suresh Reddy, means of boosting bilateral cooperation between the two countries in the economic and the industrial fields, in addition to probing new horizons of the partnership among their companies. And the meeting dealt with means of cooperation between vital sectors, as Hashimi pointed to the bundle of incentives and integrated facilities in Egypt offers to investors. The minister invited Indian businessmen and investors to visit companies and factories to learn about the available and potentials in addition to the chances of investment. The sports in detail. The Reds kicked off the pre-season friendlies in style with convincing 4-1 victory over the state Tunisian. Al Ahly's head coach make full use of the squad, rotating the 25 players throughout the match to hand the valuable minutes to nearly every member to the traveling group. And next up, the Reds will take the CA Brazil this Friday to their second pre-season fixture. Manchester United have signed forward Brian Mabano for the Brentford until 2030 with the option to extend for a further year. United said Monday Unlight paid $88 million to Brentford, with another $6 million potentially due to an add-on for the 25-year-old Cameroon international. According to the club source, Melbourne hit the new heights in the 2024-25 league season and finishing it to the impressed as a centre-forward, proving indispensable for the Brentford for starting every league game last season. By this, we come to the end of our news bulletin on Channel 2. Thank you for watching and stay tuned. This is Sahar Al-Talawi.